What's good, YouTube? Ben here. Welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path Viable build. This one is for Nami Solo. Let's get into this. Alright, so Nami Solo is one of those weapons that has an Incarnon form, and that Incarnon form gives it extreme viability for the Steel Path. But we're going to go into the build in a moment. I do want to point out a few things very quickly. So this is a Steel Path viable build, emphasis on the word viable. So to me, a viable build is a build that will work and get you through the Steel Path, but it is not meant to get you through like level 9,999 enemies, because the average player isn't going to want to get that high in level for whatever reason. You know what I mean? I don't do it, and I'm a casual player. So, like, that's one thing. Another thing as well is, if you're gonna, you can feel free to offer your own builds in the comments below. I have no problems. If I find a build that works better than mine, I'll create a video on it, give you a shout out. You know, that's great. I'll do that. That's not an issue. However, keep it clean, guys. Don't, you know, like, basically don't be a douche. Any douchey comments will just be deleted, because it's just like, why? Anyway, getting into the build, we'll go over the Incarnon evolution first, just so you can see what kind of thing we're going for. So, of course, it's some Incarnon evolution. Reach 6 times combo and then heavy attack to activate Incarnon form, and it greatly increases range, plus 3 range, plus 100% melee damage, plus 20% sprint speed, plus 20% parkour velocity. Incarnon evolution 2 is Brigand's Frenzy, increased base damage by plus 80 on equip, plus 30% attack speed for 4 seconds. We have Incarnon Evolution 3, which is Lone Blade, with melee weapon equipped, increased base follow-through by 60%. And Evolution 4, Absolute Valor, increased base critical chance by plus 21%. So we're going for a major crit build here. Let's jump into the main build. So we've got Sundering Weave as our aura mod, which is steady chopping strikes with focused damage. And then we're running Blood Rush for 40% critical chance stacks for combo multiplier, which can get you to insane levels. A Condition Overload for 80% damage per melee damage per status type affecting the target. Virulent Scourge for 60% toxin and 60% status chance. Vicious Frost for 60% cold and 60% status chance. Berserker Fury for on melee kill plus 35% attack speed for 10 seconds stacks up to 2 times. So it gets you a 70% boost once you take out 2 enemies. Primed Pressure Point for 165% melee damage. Organ Shatter for 90% critical damage. And True Steel for 120% critical chance, times 2 for heavy attacks. So we're going for a massive crit build. I would like to point out, I would run Amalgam Organ Shatter, but I don't think it's worth the 5% drop just for wind-up speed. And then I'd run, of course, Sacrificial Steel, but I don't have it high enough yet, so that's why I've not done that anyway. So that's also fine. So when it comes to the major build, we've got 1.3 times attack speed, 2.5 meter in range. That, of course, goes higher in the Incarnon form. Then we've got follow through, which is 70%, which is very nice. Critical chance, which is 79.2%, but that's just with True Steel. That doesn't account for Blood Rush, so you'll easily get over to 100% on this. 3.8 times critical multiplier, and then we've got 55% status chance. Of course, slash, because it is a slash-based weapon, along with viral because of the frost and scourge. So because of the toxic and the ice, it makes viral, which is great for cutting through health. And then in the Incarnon form, we're basically looking at a bunch more damage, which is very nice. But yeah, let's get into the mission. I'll show you what this thing can do. Alright, so we're here at Oxymoker in the Void, and as per normal, I'll quickly go through why we're here. So the Void is one of the latest game areas of the Steel Path, meaning you get higher level enemies. Not to mention you're dealing with the Corrupted, and with the Corrupted you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with high armor, giving you a more varied example of what damage you're actually going to be doing. So let's jump in. I love this room configuration already. It's a lot better than like other ones. So you just want to start by getting off your attacks, which you're going to cut through decently quickly anyway. But you want to get your combo multiplier to 6 times. Once you do, you're then able to trigger your Incarnon evolution. At which time you can start legit constantly kicking ass. Bingo. 6 times. Let's go. And now we're in Incarnon form. Now the Incarnon form, as you start carving through enemies, not only does a bunch of damage, but will also give you insane crits because of its range. You'll hit multiple enemies at a time. Just go ahead and do that quick. Get Gloom up so I can heal. I'd like to point out as well, a lot of people, including my main build for Atlas, run Steel Charge, which gives you a boost to melee damage. I am not running that. I will, once I've beaten the Acolyte, quickly quit out of the mission. I'll show you what build I'm running on Atlas. I changed out that for Growing Power, just so I didn't get the melee boost, so you can see the raw damage that you can do with this build. But honestly, like, pretty legit solid. Like, those crits hit, and they hit pretty hard when they do land, which is nice. And they do land pretty frequently as well, because of the build we've gone for. And you'll often get, like, insane damage crits going on. And you'll also find with this weapon as well, as long as you can keep... Oh, no. Say that, and then... Okay, there we go. As long as you can keep your attacks up, you'll have no problem hitting really high multipliers. And the cool thing is that the heavy attack on this sword is insanely good. And it hits freaking hard. Of course, it will nuke out your combo multiplier, so you will need to build it again, but that's not a problem. Also, for anyone wondering how this Incarnon evolution handles, basically, the way it works is you get it for 180 seconds. After that, you'll need to do another heavy attack at 6 times multiplier to get it back. Which, to be fair, getting it for that long is not an issue. There is a Jade Eximus somewhere. Hello. Bingo. There it goes. As you can see, taking out Eximuses with this thing, not a problem. Like, that heavy attack basically rips through them, which is awesome. I did consider putting mods on that boosts heavy attack damage, but my issue with that is, at least for me personally, I don't use the heavy attack enough to warrant it. Like, I will use it if I'm surrounded by enemies, just so I can clear them quick. But generally speaking, I'm not using them that much in terms of, like, other damage types. You know what I mean? So for me, it doesn't make much sense. But, like, I've literally been living off of the circuit, because there were 2 Incarnon forms that I needed, were Nami Solo and Soma Prime, which Soma's going to be the next build I do. I've just got to finish it. I've not yet finished that build, so I can't obviously show a build that's not complete. Although I'm having an issue with the final Incarnon task, because for whatever reason, whenever I take out 10 enemies within 8 seconds, it's not counting. And I don't know why. So I do need to figure that out before I can actually do anything else. Go back to Incarnon Evolution. Beautiful. And there we go, we're back in. It's not hard to get the Incarnon Evolution for this weapon at all active. It takes a few seconds. Especially on Steel Path. On Steel Path, when you're dealing with enemies that deal a massive amount of, or can take a few hits to take out, you're going to build the combo multiplier insanely fast. But, like, the Incarnon for this weapon also kind of turns it into an Arcana, which is really cool. It's like a big giant pirate sword. It's like a pirate katana, which is actually freaking sweet. Like, another thing that's really cool about slash damage as well, because it's additive, not multiplicative, you'll just keep adding slash procs, which is actually really cool. The reason, by the way, I've not been using the combo multiplier is because I'm waiting for the Acolyte. I'm going to lose it, though. Annoying. Yeah. That's annoying. I took out all the enemies in the room, and now there's no one left. Hello? Enemies. Hate it when this happens. Well, the Acolyte would like to spawn in some point today. It'd also be nice. So with these videos, I always stay in long enough to do the Acolyte. Just so you can see what it can do. Or at least get a fair approximation of what it can do. And to be fair, this thing against Acolyte's pretty freaking good. Like, but then again, melee's probably the best way to take out Acolytes usually anyway. Unless you've got, like, a stupidly good build on, like, a primary or secondary. Like, I can quite easily take out Acolytes with the Tomos, for example. My Tomos build is nutty, because it's using the Incarnon adapter. There we go. Freaking waiting on that guy. Beautiful. I can build up more combo multiplier. Awesome. Let's go. So, ripping through shields, easy. Ripping through health, easy. You shred acolytes with this weapon. It is awesome. Just for that alone, it's freaking cool. But, like, you just legit shred through freaking everything with this, with this thing. It is nutty. Like, this actually might be my new favorite melee weapon, purely because of how good it is. Like, it's honestly such a solid weapon. Now, we've done the mission. I'm going to extract so we can get my steel essence, and then I'll quickly show you the Atlas build to prove to you that I'm not using steel charge. I do use steel charge. If you look at the main Atlas build on my channel for Steel Path, I do use steel charge primarily for melee. When I want to do a bunch of melee damage, I'll usually take Atlas, but I'll show you the build I'm using, so you know I'm not, you know, adding extra damage from an unknown source or whatever. Like, I'll do it without doing a cut as well, so you know I'm not putting in and out to, you know, change my mod setup, whatever. But honestly, that weapon's great. Like, don't get me wrong, without Incarnon, it has a harder time on the Steel Path. 1, because of its range, it does not have good range. 2, its follow-through is a lot less. 3, its crit chance is a lot less. But with the Incarnon evolution, it is more than viable. Like, you can definitely use it on Steel Path, and it shreds through, which is incredibly nice. Atlas Prime. So as you can see, I'm using Growing Power, which basically just increases ability strength. And the only ability I activated during the mission was Gloom. So that's the only one I activated during the mission, which is Gloom. So you don't have to worry about that. I do have Blade Charger, but I didn't use my primary weapon. So, but yeah, that's the build for Nami Solo. Let me know if you like the build in the comments down below. If you do have your own variation of the build you'd like to share, feel free to share it. I'll test it out, and if it's better, I will create a video on it, give you a shout out. Don't forget you can also support the channel further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch and TikTok all at the same time. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form, so more for mobile. But if you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, then join me on Twitch and TikTok. Those links are down below. And don't forget I also make exclusive content on TikTok, so don't forget to follow on there.